Hello, peace and blessings. I made it. Welcome to Enter the Sanctuary. I'm Jovhannah, the spiritual love healer, and today I want to talk about labels and how labels can either confine us or kind of set us free, and why that kind of matters, especially when we're talking about healing, especially. So I pulled a card, and the card that came up was, this is Goddess Hera, and it talks about amplified awareness. And I thought that was very potent for this conversation, because often we label ourselves things, or either we claim labels that we're told, and sometimes we do so like without even being aware that that's what we're doing. And so this morning I woke up, and for some reason I was thinking about different labels and all the ways that I label myself, and like, are these labels necessary? And what came forward was, instead of like trying to claim a label, like, why not just be the thing, right? So like, one of the examples that came to mind when I was thinking about it is because I've gone through like an abusive relationship, and I remember that I would say, like, I'm a victim, I'm a victim, I'm a victim. And so even after I was out of that situation, I was still in like a victim mindset. And I know for some people, they may look at that differently. So again, this is my perspective, my experience. If yours is different, that is true for you, just as this is true for me. But to me, I found saying that I'm a victim and claiming that energy over and over again, it kind of kept me in that cycle. So once I gained the awareness that the more I continue to claim this energy, this title, this label of the experience, the more I'm going to be in that energy. It was a very like sad, woe is me. It was a very low vibration. Now compare that to I am a survivor. That's definitely a different energy. It's a more empowering thing that helped me shift things. Like, I don't have to feel meek and small just because I went through abuse. I don't have to feel bad or feel embarrassed or feel in guilt because of the things that I experienced. And so shifting that language, the label around that experience, changed things for me, because I started seeing myself differently. It was kind of like, you kind of straighten up a little bit more, because you're not carrying the weight of that situation or the weight of that label with you. Now, this is not to say that all labels are bad or that we should throw them all out, because sometimes they are beneficial. Warning labels, for instance, keep us safe. The signs on the road keep us safe. So we do need labels, because sometimes they do give us direction. They help to clarify things, but a lot of times we will assign labels to ourselves, or they will be assigned to us by others, and it puts us in a little box where we feel like, because I am a victim, I have to act like this, I have to feel like this, I have to move like this, I have to carry this with me, and that's not the case. So if you think about all of the different ways, especially like in regards to healing, right? So let's keep it focused there. But if you think about all the different things that you say about yourself throughout the day, what are they? Like, make a list of all the labels, the way that you're calling yourself, the energies that you're claiming, and then look at where you want to be, who you want to become, and the life that you want to be living, and see if they match up. I feel very strongly that if I was still saying I'm a victim of domestic violence, I'm a victim of domestic violence, I would still be in a victim mindset, versus now saying, I'm a survivor of domestic violence. Completely different to me. So when it comes to healing, for instance, we can keep ourselves feeling like we are stuck, like we're small, like we don't matter, because of the things that we've experienced. We start to identify with our experience, with the energy of that. And so when I look at this amplified awareness, it is twofold. One, because it speaks to like wisdom and power and being able to manifest. And so this kind of goes back into the whole concept of labels. Is if you're consistently telling yourself that you're not able to move forward, that you're not able to change your life, that you're not able to be more than who you are, to have more than what you have, you will believe that. And so we have to, what I like to call, expand our vision, right? And that's amplified awareness of what it is that you are capable of, what it is that you're capable of becoming, and start to apply new labels to yourself. So this is how you can use labels, you can use words to help you propel into the next level of yourself, the next level of your life. And it's one of the reasons why I love journaling so much. I just posted before I jumped on here about the Spiritual Love Journal that I am creating. Because journaling is super powerful. It helps you to hear your inner dialogue, and it helps you to start shifting it. So if you know that you want to, one of the things I am working on is like my health and my fitness. And if I walk around saying like, oh, I'll never be in shape, then that's just going to discourage me from doing the things that I want to do to be in shape. So instead of claiming illness, instead of claiming being inactive, I am claiming words that support who and what I desire to become in the future. So every day I get up, I go for walks, I drink my smoothies, I make sure I'm taking my vitamins, I'm caring for my body, I visualize myself going to the next level of fitness for myself. I read a lot about fitness. I read a little bit about nutrition so that I know exactly what it is that I'm doing, because that is where I want to go. What happens is we label ourselves with things that we've experienced in the past, mistakes that we've made, the things that people have called us or told us. Peace, goddess, how are you? And so we keep those old labels. And then instead of looking at, then we look at where we are today, and it's like, oh, well, this must be it. And so we operate within the confines, we label ourselves within the confines of what we've experienced and where we are. And if it doesn't necessarily match where you're trying to go in the future, that's where you have to start claiming new things, start looking at yourself differently, start amplifying your awareness and expanding your vision for yourself and who you can be and what you can achieve. Another thing that comes up with this card too is, we have to start really expanding our heart set and our mindset to realize that there is abundance, an abundance of everything that you could possibly desire. There is enough for everyone. There is enough for you to have a whole pie. You don't have to get a piece. You can get you a whole pie and put whatever you want in it and bake it the way that you want. And unfortunately, we're, conditioned to think that, oh, I can only get a piece of this pie, or in order for me to succeed, I have to look like this, I have to be like this, or if I was abused in the past, I'll never be anything. If I experienced, I was a single mother, a young single mother, so then a lot of people try to put a lot of different labels and constraints on me, like my life was over because I had a child. I'm like, what? Like, no. And it's so interesting the way that, these little words like single mother, these words that we can, and I'm like, and that's one of the things when I created this community, Healing Single Mothers, that I talked about a lot, is taking the word single out of mother because it denotes lack. Like we're not missing anything. We are complete and we have everything that we need to succeed and to be an amazing parent. And so there's so much stigma and shame that was like placed on, I know myself personally and a lot of other single moms have felt that as well. And it's like, for what? Like we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. So I call myself a mother. I'm a single woman who is a mother. that's about it. And I think that we, should all identify ourselves in that way, because it's like, oh, well, you must have done something wrong because you're a single mom. And it's like, no, not really. And it is what it is. And some women are single mothers because they chose to adopt. Some women are single mothers because their spouse, their partner passed away. So it's not all, shame and blame, but that's the energy that is attached to that label. And I used to identify as that for a very, very long time, until I got older and started looking at things a little bit differently. Then I decided, okay, I don't want to claim that for myself anymore, because I lack nothing in motherhood. I lack nothing as a woman. And so I'm not going to identify myself in that way. And so when we start to look at the way that we are identifying ourselves and the labels that we're putting on ourselves, and we're not even aware of it. And like I said, make a list of the different hats you wear, the different roles you wear, the things that you say to yourself internally, and start to think, what labels do I identify with? Okay, woman. Okay. Black woman. What are the different labels that you identify with? And really start to think about, how do these affect the way that I show up in the world? How does this affect the way that I see myself? Does me identifying as this hold me back? Does it empower me? If I feel like it holds me back, how can I either release it, or how can I either find the medicine, the wisdom, the nugget in that label? So for single mom, you can take that and turn it into something that's empowering, right? It doesn't have to be a bad thing. You can look at it and say, yes, I stepped up. I'm a solo mom. I don't have to feel shame and blame because I'm raising a child on my own. Single people have puppies, fish, pets. You know what I'm saying? Why is it that when it comes to parenthood, we look at it so much differently and place so much judgment and shame on someone who is single? I don't get it. It's so weird to me. But anyways, I digress. A lot of my work does really focus too on helping other single mothers, because I am one, and I know that when I was younger, especially, if I had the support and the tools and the resources that I needed, I probably would have avoided a lot of the things that I experienced in life. And that's one of the reasons I do want to start a nonprofit organization and really bring some healing and tools and resources to single mothers, because I feel like they need it. And then when we start to, especially as women, when we start to focus on healing and nurturing ourselves, the people in our lives, the children, thank you, that we are connected with, everything is just a ripple effect. So when we are healthy, healed, whole, and complete, then that ripples out to our children, it ripples out to our family, it ripples out to the community, and it just creates a vortex of love, of abundance, of healing, of forgiveness, of compassion. And that is exactly what we need in our lives. It's so easy to get caught up in, like I said, in all these labels. Just turn on the news, vaccinated, unvaccinated, black, white, it's American, foreigner, man, woman. There's so much harm that can be inflicted because we cling to these labels. And I think it's important to remember that, especially sometimes, we shouldn't have to identify, a dog doesn't tell you that they're a dog, right? They just are. They just exist, and they do what a dog does. And I think a lot of times we try to label ourselves, and I notice a lot of times too, people who are well, I'm a good person. Sometimes they're not good people. You shouldn't have to, tell everybody. A lot of times I see where they're talking about alpha males, or I don't even like that phrase. That's a label that I don't like. But if you indeed are that dominant, whatever that's supposed to be, that should emanate from you, right? You shouldn't have to walk into the room and say, hey, look at me, I'm this, or hey, look at me, I'm that. start being what it is that you are claiming, and it will start to truly manifest. So that kind of goes back into, again, choosing what labels you wish to embody. So maybe it's wealthy. You want to be wealthy. That's a label that you wish to embody. So start to sit with that. Meditate on it. How does it feel? What would you be doing differently? How would you act? What kind of energy would you carry when you are wealthy? Would you make different decisions? Would you, how would you handle your money? Like all of these different things. It's an absolute mindset shift. I had to slow down on that one because it wasn't going to come out correctly. But it is a mindset shift when you can start to look at, okay, what labels am I claiming? Do they resonate with me? Do they resonate with who I want to become? Are they empowering me or are they disempowering? And if so, how can I shift it? How can I change it? For someone who has been at rock bottom, claiming things like being broke, can't keep a job. I forget what year it was. It was like 2006 to like 2009, whenever the economy crashed and people were getting laid off like left and right. I got caught up in that. It was crazy. And so then I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can't keep a job. What's wrong with me? It wasn't anything necessarily wrong with me. I was a great employee. We were just in a bad economy, and the companies that I was getting hired with were having to let people go. And unfortunately, I was one of the people. And that was actually a beautiful thing for me, because that's when I realized that the whole job security thing, that label of job security, was not real. It was something that was sold to us. And so I knew early on, like, I want to do something for myself, because no one can guarantee that, they'll have a job for me. So why would I want to keep going to work for someone when they can let you go at a moment's notice? So again, another label that kind of affected me, but I was able to turn that around and say, okay, I know the skills that I have, and I know that I bring a lot of value to any organization that I am with. So why not bring that same value to myself? And eventually I was able to do that and started a business for myself. So labels, again, they do have a place, but I think we have to be very mindful and careful of the ones that we are really placing weight and merit on, because it can hinder us, especially if it's something that puts us in a corner and makes you feel that you're not worthy, you're not valuable, you're not good enough, you're not able to, to really get to where you want to be, which is what I like to call living abundantly ever after. It is absolutely possible for you to take whatever hand you were dealt in life and for you to win with it. But you have to start looking at your past not as something that binds you, that chains you, but as something that you can learn from and grow from. And that's one of the things that really helped me. It was like really starting to what's the word? Not identify with those experiences, but look at them from a place of detached awareness, right? So it's like I'm the observer and I can go back and look at it, and in doing so, it's not triggering to me. I can go back and say, okay, wow, like I could have did better in this instance. And that's very helpful, instead of, feeling like you have to carry that experience around with you forever. You can, look at it from a place of detached awareness and just be a witness to it. And sometimes in order to process things like that, you do need support, therapy, a coach, somebody to really help you work through it. But it's a very beautiful thing when you are able to reflect in that way. And that's what helps me to extract the wisdom out of painful situations. And then again, just figuring out who you want to become. And this is one of the big things that I help my clients with, is getting clear on what it is that you want in your life and who you want to be. it's well, not really surprising. A lot of people don't know. And I think that reason is twofold. Oftentimes we are, force fed who we're supposed to be, what we're supposed to do, what our life is supposed to look like from a very early age by our parents, by our family, by friends, by media, by society. So it's like by the time you are able to start really creating your own decisions, it's like, well, I don't know. I need somebody to tell me. And it can be scary to start to like expand your vision for your life and start to think outside of the box, because you might be the only one in your family that wants to be a business owner. You might be the only one in your family that wants to like not get married and just travel the world with a cute little puppy. I don't know, but we each have our own vision. And when we're not taught how to cultivate it, how to connect with it, it can be scary to do that. And so I mentioned earlier that I am a mom. I have 2 girls. And so one of the things that I try to be aware of is to like ask them, what is it that you want? So that they can already start thinking, like I get to choose. I have choices. My voice matters, versus me saying, you're going to be this and you're going to be that. And this is what you need to do. Like, no, like what are your gifts? What are your skills? What is it that you want to do? And I try to be very mindful with labels, and so that they can kind of shape their own identity. And that's a whole nother conversation in and of itself. But just looking back on things that I experienced in my life, it has helped me to be a better parent, because I know how to be more of a support, how to avoid certain things. So that's been super helpful. But I think that's it. So if you're just joining, I am Jovhannah, the Spiritual Love Healer. I was kind of talking about labels and how labels can keep us either stuck sometimes, or how we can use them to really expand and propel ourselves into the next best version of ourselves. And I pulled this card for us, which is Amplified Awareness, which talks about like really being aware of what's happening and being able to tap into your wisdom, tap into your power, so that you can manifest and reach your goals. And when we are labeling ourselves with things that bind us to our past, or just keeps us laser focused on where we are now, it can prevent you from thinking about who you want to become in the future. And the power is in the present moment, but it's helpful to kind of look ahead, because if I know that I want to be a millionaire, then that means I need to start doing certain things today, like right now, so that happens. If I never have the awareness of what I wish to become, then the steps that I do now will be out of alignment and be, oh, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Thank you. She said, I was meant to hear this tonight. Yes. But it'll be out of alignment. And so that is something that I had to learn. And just really being mindful of what am I labeling myself as? And this isn't necessarily about like gender or anything like that, but like what hats am I wearing and what labels in life am I claiming? One of the examples that I shared was I was a survivor of domestic violence. I was getting ready to say a victim. And before, I would always say, well, I'm a victim, I'm a victim, I'm a victim. And I kept thinking and acting and moving and feeling like a victim. And then I started saying, wait, like, no, I'm a survivor. I am a survivor. And that changed things for me. I started moving and feeling and acting like a survivor. That helped me to really pull my power back. And again, I started acting and moving differently and accordingly. So the things that we call ourselves, the labels that we apply to situations in our lives, they absolutely do matter. And labels are important because they do help us, like I said, like a label on a bottle of poisoning helps us not to drink it. So labels are absolutely valid, but we can cling to them so much in our lives, and that tethers us to outdated versions of us, old habits and thoughts and patterns and identities that do not serve us. I like to help women focus on their abundantly ever after, and that's really like recreating themselves, rebirthing themselves, reclaiming their power so that you can manifest the life that you truly desire to live. And in doing that, it's about figuring out who you desire to be. What hats do you want to wear? What do you want to experience? And what are those labels? How do they feel for you? And when you are able to integrate that, what is that going to look like and feel like for you? So I am super grateful that you joined in on Tuesday, October 5th at 7 p.m. Eastern. I will be hosting, hi Brandy, oh my gosh, I love you. I'm hosting the Spiritual Love Circle. It's a free virtual healing circle. We're going to be talking about loving your life and the importance, and this kind of ties into that, the importance of like loving where you are now and coming to a place of acceptance, because even if where you are right now is not great, a lot of times we create resistance because we're like, I don't want to be here, this is not what I wanted, or my life, we get into the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and it just creates a unhelpful energy, right? That kind of keeps us feeling low, like this is not my life, like what am I, it just puts us in that place of discomfort, and we can sometimes stay stuck there, or it makes us feel like, oh my God, like this is it, like what did I do with my life? And so I really want to talk about ways to help you embrace or accept where you are now. You don't have to love it, but if you are able to come to a place of acceptance, it helps to like release some of that resistance, release some of that fear and the thinking. I know we think a lot. I am definitely a thinker and I've had to learn that for me, I have to move my body physically in order to process the energy that's happening up here. And when I don't, like, it shows, I can tell, because everything just gets cloudy and muddled up, and it's like, okay, I need to go dance, I need to go move, I need to walk, something. Yes. So we're going to just be talking about that, and I'll share some of the tips on how I was able to come to a place of acceptance within myself when I was in one of the darkest places of my life. Like I said, I'm a survivor of domestic violence, toxic relationships, like so many horrible things, yet here I am. I still smile and I thrive, and I am living my abundantly ever after. So I love you all. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to DM me. The link, if you want to sign up for the Spiritual Love Circle, is in the bio. And I hope to see you there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I like to kind of start with like a little meditation, and then we dive into the topic, and you can ask questions. I might pull some cards. So it's always a beautiful, sacred time. And I'm so grateful that I was able to show up. Oh, I'm so glad you did as well. I'll try to do these every Sunday. It's my Enter the Sanctuary series. Tonight I was a little bit later today. I was going to do it earlier, but it was Sunday and I wanted to relax and lay in the bed. And so here I am, but it looks like this was absolutely divine timing for you. So I'm sending you all an abundance of love, and I'll see you next week. Peace.